guy has lied about pretty much everything. So you've probably heard about this guy. And if you haven't, let me explain. This guy's name is Corey Harris. And Corey went viral after he answered a Zoom call court meeting while he was driving, which is already a bad idea. It doesn't look good. But he checked into his court case while driving for having a suspended license. Yeah, so not only was he answering on his phone while driving, he had a suspended license. And even if you didn't have a suspended license, holding your phone while you're driving is not legal. It's illegal. So regardless of what your take on texting and driving is, it's a really stupid thing to do in front of the judge who is deciding your case. Like, that is brain dead. Even if the reason he was in court was completely unrelated to driving, you just don't answer your court call while you're driving. In your car, sure, whatever. I've seen that before. I'm sure that's fine. It's probably not the best thing to do, but I'm sure it's fine. But while you're driving, no, that's so dumb, no. But it is a great idea to subscribe down below, I promise you. Please and thank you. But then everyone found out that it was a mistake, and his license should have been reinstated 2 years ago. So everyone apologized, which I think is fair. They thought they messed up. It's good to apologize if you mess up like this, because realistically, if this guy was totally innocent, yeah, it would have been not okay to not apologize. But it turns out this guy lied about pretty much everything. He went on the news and said he was being ridiculed online and he's innocent. He didn't actually do anything wrong. But then he went back to court again recently and the judge obliterates this man. This guy has never in his life gotten a driver's license. Ever. Like, seriously, he's just never had one. So all this happens, and it turns out this guy just doesn't have a driver's license. And the best part about all of this is, this guy went to the news, and when he was asked if he had a driver's license, or ever had a driver's license, he responded with,
I don't know.
For anyone out there with a driver's license, would you forget that you took that test and got your license? I don't think you would. Like, that's a crazy thing to forget. There's no way you just forget that. And the reason the judge knows he never got a license is because in Michigan, where all this happened, if you have a state ID, which Corey does, you can't have a driver's license. You can only have one or the other because a state ID is a replacement for your driver's license if you don't get it. So every year, Corey has been renewing his state ID every single year and still had the audacity to lie about it on the news and attempt to in the court. Like, bro, you are talking to the government when you're in a courtroom. You don't think they have the records of you getting your ID renewed? Are you serious? There's been a lot of people calling this guy the dumbest person alive. And I don't agree that he's the dumbest, but he's up there, okay? There's so many layers of this just being absolutely brain dead. And the funniest part is, it gets worse. So apparently when he was pulled over initially, apparently he told the officer that pulled him over at least twice that he doesn't have a license.
Quote unquote, quote, actually, I don't have a valid license. Close quote. The question was, are you a valid driver? Quote, I am not.
That is utterly insane. And it's not like I expected him to lie to the officer or something, because that wouldn't have worked out well for him, because the cop just could have looked up his name and had all his records and been like, you never got a license. So that wouldn't have worked out for him either way. But what's crazy to me is that you tell the officer that no, you never had a valid license, and you go to court and you say you did and it was reinstated 2 years ago. And then on top of that, you also show up to court while holding your phone and driving, which is also illegal. And somehow this guy just forgot that he told a cop that he didn't have a license. How do you forget that? Or, this is probably what happened, he didn't forget, he just hoped that it wouldn't be a problem. And I don't know how you wouldn't think that'd be a problem. You can't go on the news and say this is an injustice, right? But then never have your license. You can't do that. That's not gonna work out, as we've clearly seen. I really wanna know what the plan was, if there even was a plan, because it has to be funny, right? Everybody around him about this lie, basically. And he's still going about it, expecting it to work out somehow. I wasn't even gonna initially talk about this guy, because it seemed like a quick whatever story that was kind of funny, but then it blew up to this huge proportion of it just being demonstrably false, and now it's really funny. So yeah, good job, Corey. You kind of played yourself a little bit, because I know that I am not the only person who waited to talk about this. There's gonna be a lot more. This did not work out for you, and I really don't think this guy deserves like any sympathy, because not only did he initially lie, he kept the lie going and dug the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And on top of that, you know what the guy pulled up to the courtroom with? You might have seen it earlier when I played the clip. He pulled up in a Trust Me shirt, a Trust Me t-shirt, and he lied right in the judge's face. That is insane. That is an insane thing to do. Or maybe I should say stupid thing to do, because that's like what it is. Like, this was a middle schooler's idea of winning over the judge. After I heard the second report that it was a misunderstanding, I felt pretty bad for the dude. He was getting dogpiled on by literally everybody pretty much, and it didn't seem like he really deserved it. But bro, this has to be one of the stupidest lies you could ever try and get away with. This is legitimately like a toddler lying. It is such a bold-faced, obvious lie that you question how they came to the conclusion to lie about it to begin with. And I especially don't feel bad because this guy lying has gotten like everyone involved in this court case a bunch of harassment, because Yeah, it looks really bad when a judge orders someone to court when they shouldn't be there. Like, it doesn't look good. So I see why people were upset, but I'll also say going any way to harass anybody is never the answer. It always makes you look horrible and whatever cause you're supporting, horrible. So if you want your causes to progress in the future, don't do it. But yeah, you can't become a national story and lie about why you're there. He didn't even have to lie. There was no prompt for that. Like, this dude knew he didn't have a driver's license and he thought he could get away with it by lying, which is insane, because he told a cop that he didn't have a license, and every single year for like 20 something years, he's been going to whatever place in Michigan you renew your license or state ID, and he's been renewing it. Literally every year, religiously. That is what the judge said. He literally said, like, faithfully or religiously, whatever he used. It was a routine that had not been broken. So there is no chance that Corey forgot about that, unless Corey has major memory issues and Corey has to schedule every single thing he has to do years in advance and get reminded the day of the thing he has to do, or else he'll forget. That is the only way where this makes sense, because there's no chance a person forgets going to the same place every single year to renew their ID. There's no chance. There really is just no words to explain it. I think if Corey explained the thought process, it would actually make less sense. So I don't even think we should ask him. And also, seriously, don't harass anybody involved in this story. None of these people need your harassment. I'm sure they're getting flamed by like literally everybody. And if you never harass people from stories, good on you. I'm proud of you. You're not a scumbag. But trying to get away with those lies is insane. And it makes me think too, how many people like Corey exist that we just never see or hear about because they don't make the news? How many exist? Because the number can't be zero, but I also hope it wouldn't be too high. Because if there was a lot of people that would lie about something so obviously a lie, I'd be kind of worried. Like, that is your brain fell out of your head at a young age kind of stupid. And I bet Corey thought he was an evil genius with his Trust Me shirt. He thought he was going to convince the judge with the Trust Me shirt, okay? But then, when you turn around, judge, when I leave the courtroom after an innocent man, you see my fingers crossed because I lied to you, judge. I never had my license all along. But what really happened is the judge was like, no, this is stupid. Get out of here. And then the cop took him away. So yeah, they didn't play out very well. There is a parallel universe where he got away with it. And him having the Trust Me shirt with the fingers crossed is also really funny there too. Either way, it's a funny thing to wear. It just doesn't look good when you're losing. It looks really bad when you're losing, actually. His lawyer also seemed to not really know that he never had a license. So I feel bad for her because she seemed blindsided. Maybe she knew and she was just assigned to defend him. And in that case, I'm sorry, that sucks. But either way, I would not want to be this dude's lawyer. Worst client ever. Literally tells the cop, yes, officer, I don't have a license. And for those wondering how he got a suspended license without actually having a driver's license, it's because he was behind on child support payments despite having the ability to pay them. And the courts automatically issue a suspension of driving privileges whether you have a license or not. It also means you can't apply for a driver's license. I know it's a bit confusing because it says suspension for driving, and it's probably one of the big reasons why the story blew up to begin with. But yeah, the suspension of driving could be for also getting a license. But this whole story was mega brain dead. It was a really good laugh though, and I'm glad it happened because it was funny. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And also tell me, do you actually remember getting a driving test? Because I do, vividly. I don't believe someone can forget that. I really don't. But like and subscribe, new follow me on Twitter, @spatnz, check out more of my content, and have a good one.